Dear children, I welcome you all to online class. Now you are going to listen to moral story. Before listening to moral story, we will close our eyes for prayer. Lord's Prayer. Repeat after me. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Lesson 10, Egyptian Food Market. Lesson 10, Egyptian Food Market. This story is about Joseph and his family. Joseph was hated by his elder brothers because their father loved him more than anybody else. He was also a very obedient and God-fearing young man. So when his brothers found a chance to get rid of him, they sold Joseph to traders who were going to Egypt. They never wanted to see him again. When they went home, they told their father how Joseph was killed in the jungle. But God had another plans for his family. God's promise to Abraham was to be honored. It was through Joseph that God had planned to serve the children of Jacob. Jacob's sons were very happy. Their teasing brother was gone forever. Only their father Jacob was sad. He cried so much for his last son. His most loved son was gone forever. However, the brothers continued doing their daily work as usual. Over the years, the family grew. They had more children. More food had to be provided to feed everyone. More hands were needed to help in the work. Joseph remains faithful. Meanwhile, Joseph also had gone through hard times. First, he worked as a slave. He was a servant in the house of an officer. After that, he was put in a prison. He was there for many years. But even in the prison, God was with him. He never did anything evil. He did not sin. He was a faithful and a helpful man to others. Therefore, God remembered him even in the prison. One day, the king of Egypt had a dream and he was disturbed by it. He wanted to know the true meaning of that strange dream, but no one in his court was wise enough to tell him correctly what his dream was about. Joseph interprets dream. A man who had once been with Joseph in the prison and was now back in his old position in the palace remembered Joseph. He told the king that Joseph would tell the meaning of his dream. At last, the king was revealed to know that someone could interpret a strange dream. So Joseph was hurriedly called before the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. The Pharaoh asked Joseph if he could tell him the meaning of his dream. Joseph very humbly told Pharaoh that only his God would give him the wisdom to interpret the dream. The Pharaoh was impressed by the interpretation of his dream. It spoke about 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine in his country and surrounding countries. Pharaoh was glad and appointed Joseph as the governor of the whole of Egypt. Joseph was to collect grains for 7 years during the time of plenty and store them properly. Joseph meets his brothers. The first year of the famine began. It was to continue for 7 whole years. It did not rain, so farmers could not grow any grains or food crops. Slowly, the supply of food decreased with each passing year. All over the land of people were starving and they started searching for food. Many people came to know of the food in Egypt. Joseph's father and brothers also got the news. So one day Jacob called his sons together. He told them to go to Egypt and bring food. This would help the family to survive. After a lot of preparation, they started on a long journey to Egypt. They had lots of empty grain bags with them. They collected enough gold and silver to pay for the grains. They had many animals with them to carry their grains back home. They took some food for the journey. Their youngest brother Benjamin could not go along as Jacob did not allow him. The brothers continued on the journey towards Egypt. Finally, they reached the place. They saw many other people coming from far and wide to buy food. In Egypt, Joseph was always on duty. He checked every point where food was being sold. Wherever he would go, people bowed down to him. The king's guards always protected him. On one of his rounds, Joseph saw his brothers. They also bowed to him. They could not see Joseph's face as they were facing the crowd. They could not see Joseph's face as they were facing the ground. Now Joseph remembered his dreams. He pretended to be a stranger to them. He spoke harshly to them and accused them of being spies. Desperately, they pleaded with him and said that they were not spies but honest people. Joseph tested their honesty in many ways. He found they had changed. The brothers were once selfish and loveless, now cared for each other. They also loved their father. The next time they came to buy grains, he called them for food in his huge palace. Brothers were proud of Joseph. Later he told them that he was Joseph, whom they had sold. The brothers were spellbound. The person who stood before them, dressed as an Egyptian governor, was really their last brother. They were now afraid of him. However, Joseph assured them of his love and asked them to bring his father along with their families too. All the brothers were united once again. This time there was no hatred. They were proud of their brother. They also confessed to him all their evil deeds. Thus God saved the family of Jacob. He opened the way for the people to come into Egypt. They were to enjoy its food and richness. They were to become a great nation in that land. God promised Jacob that his people would become a big nation. To fulfill his promise, God sent Joseph ahead. God placed Joseph in such a position that he could be a blessing to his people. So we must have faith in God. Sometimes we may also be in trouble. If we ask God to help, He will surely help us, as He helped the family of Jacob in the time of famine. Memory verse: Preserve me, O God, for in Thee do I put my trust. Psalms 16:1. Preserve me, O God, for in Thee do I put my trust. Psalms 16:1. Preserve me, O God, For in thee do I put my trust. Psalm 16:1. Fill in the blanks. Joseph's brothers never thought to dash him again. Number 1. Joseph's brothers never thought to dash him again. The answer is C. S-E-E-C. Number 2. The brothers were happy that their dash brother was gone forever. The brothers were happy that their dash brother was gone forever. The answer is dream. D-R-E-A-M, dream. Number 3. Joseph worked as a dash in one of the officers' house. Joseph worked as a dash in one of the officers' house. Servant. S-E-R-V-A-N-T, servant. S-E-R-V-A-N-T, servant. Number 4. Jacob wanted his sons to go to dash. Jacob wanted his sons to go to dash. The answer is Egypt. E-G-Y-P-T, Egypt. E-G-Y-P-T, Egypt. Number 5. Joseph dash to be a stranger. Joseph dash to be a stranger. The answer is pretended. P-R-E-T-E-N-D-E-D. Pretended. P-R-E-T-E-N-D-E-D. Pretended. Thank you, students.